Hey guys, let's get more news about Dallas, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Panthers may pursue veteran quarterback in trade talks. The Carolina Panthers may pursue veteran quarterback Cooper Rush in trade talks mid-season if new starter Andy Dalton doesn't work out. According to one source, they believe the Cowboys could explore trading one of their quarterbacks, and that may be Rush. It's been a downhill spiral for the Panthers already heading into Week 3, where potential franchiser Bryce Young couldn't lead the team. The Panthers should be a favorite in the trade market at least for the time being until the staff figures out the future of who leads this team after Dalton gets a few starts. However, no one should expect Dalton to do anything special, as the Panthers would probably get lucky to get at least a wild card spot. Dallas does have Trey Lance behind Dak Prescott as well, but Rush has been with the Cowboys for a long time and might be time for him to move on to give Dalton insurance. Rush can play right away, and since Lance is more of a project, the Panthers might not want to take a gamble again after seeing Young. He did have multiple teams reaching out to him last season, so it shouldn't be any surprise if he receives new trade interest again. After going 4-1 in Prescott's absence, he became a hot commodity in free agency, but the Cowboys brought him back on a friendly extension. Dallas probably won't get much in return for Rush's services, but it begins their build of draft capital. The veteran could be an upgrade over Dalton if he plays the same way he did during his 2022 campaign. Rush notched 1,051 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions while completing 58% of his passes. Here are some other potential trade destinations for Rush. The Ravens are losing Tyler Huntley again, which leaves a hole behind the comfortability of Lamar Jackson. Baltimore shouldn't worry about Jackson's absence, but they must build depth in case their franchiser goes down with an injury. They're already on a 0-2 start, and while they shouldn't panic, it could potentially lead to more disaster. However, they have enough talent like Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman and Derrick Henry, but to build a bridge behind Jackson will be useful. Rush is not getting this team to a Super Bowl or any future aspirations, but it gives a potential championship team like the Ravens competitive. Cowboys Jerry Jones openly talks trade need. Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones is, in the wake of his team's Week 2 blowout loss to the New Orleans Saints at AT&T Stadium, talking openly about a trade. So, America's team is looking at adding a stud running back? More weapons for Dak Prescott? A superstar defender to line up alongside Micah Parsons? Not exactly. Following Sunday's unusual defeat, the Cowboys had won 16 straight regular season games here at home. Jones termed the loss extraordinarily disappointing. Did that mean that the boss is willing to make a major roster change? What's this trade? He referenced in a Tuesday interview with 105.3 The Fan. We've been a good to very good team during the season over the last 4 or 5 years with Coach Mike McCarthy, he said, and we haven't done well in the playoffs. So, let's trade some challenges during the season for doing well in the playoffs. Oh. A hypothetical, philosophical, psychological trade. That's now how any of this works, of course. Dallas being worse in the regular season than the 12-5, 12-5, 12-5 that's been the norm in the last 3 seasons, and then magically exchanging that for winning in the postseason is a clever but fanciful thought. The fact is, if Dallas is too much worse in the regular season, there won't be postseason success available in trade. Since 2021, the Cowboys have been right there with the Kansas City Chiefs when it comes to regular season wins. But in those last 3 years, the Chiefs have won 2 Super Bowls, and Dallas has a 1-3 postseason record. Simply put, regarding regular season wins versus playoff wins, the 1-1 Cowboys don't get to trade one for the other. They'll only get a shot at the second thing if they fix the first thing. And some Cowboys Nation critics might argue that the only way this club will do that is by Jerry boosting his roster by engineering an actual trade. Cowboys HC Mike McCarthy could be replaced by rising, bright football mind. following the Dallas Cowboys' facepalm-worthy 44-19 loss to the New Orleans Saints on Sunday, September 15, Cowboys head coach Mike McCarthy is finding himself a bit in the hot seat. While fans are often the first to call for coaches and players to step down, some in the media are starting to jump on the bandwagon and suggest coaches to replace McCarthy. One NFL writer and expert thinks he knows of the perfect candidate to step in for the Cowboys. Joe Summers of Sport DFW has a September 15 feature where he says the perfect McCarthy replacement was made clear during the Cowboys vs. Saints game. New Orleans offensive coordinator Clint Kubiak is quickly becoming a popular head coaching candidate, the NFL writer and expert stated. Derek Carr led the Saints to scores on every drive in Week 1, then continued that streak into the fourth quarter against the Cowboys, giving Jerry Jones a perfect look at someone who could replace McCarthy once he's let go. He added that, just like in 2023, Dallas was overmatched against superior schemes. Kubiak is a rising, bright football mind and could be one of Jones' first calls this offseason. Aside from the clear strategic mistake of employing a lame-duck coach, it's time for Jones to consider alternatives. McCarthy will remain the coach for the rest of the 2024-25 season, though someone else will almost certainly be manning the ship following the year. Coaching the Cowboys is a major gig, and plenty of other coaches would also be in the running if Jerry Jones looks to replace McCarthy. In a September 16 article for Sport DFW, Devin Platana gives 3 other options to coach the Cowboys, none of whom are Kubiak. His number 1 pick is Bill Belichick, stating that, if the Cowboys want McCarthy's potential replacement to lead them to a Super Bowl, look no further than one of the best coaches to ever do it. Belichick and the Cowboys seem like a match made in heaven, especially if the latter wants to end their playoff futility, he added. Belichick joining the franchise might hinge on Jones giving up some of his general manager duties given the former's hands-on style, however, that's a sacrifice worth making if it means returning the Lombardi Trophy to America's team. Back in January, Yahoo Sports asked Jones what he respected about Belichick. Jones' answer raised some eyebrows and made some believe Jones would be open to the idea of having Belichick coach for the Cowboys. I know him personally and I like him, Jones said. There's no doubt in my mind we could work together. None. Platana also suggested Detroit Lions offensive coordinator Ben Johnson and Kansas City Chiefs defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo as possible replacements for McCarthy. Signing Johnson would also show Cowboys fans that the franchise is ready to move into a new era, Platana noted of Johnson. After the defense crumbled against the Saints, it's clear that the Cowboys could use someone like Spagnuolo, he said of the Spagnuolo option. And you fan? What do you think of the situation of Mike McCarthy? Leave your opinion in the comments.